I've clicked the Send button on the top right-hand side to initiate getting the form to other people. I've clicked the link icon. Here's the link, and I'll choose Copy. Before we can look at the responses, I want to bring this form up onto a new page so that you can see what it looks like when it gets filled out. Here's our application. Because we created sections, I can click Next to go on to the next section. I'll put in some quick answers here. Remember, the red asterisk means that it's a required field. So if I don't have this filled out, I get prompted that it's a required question. And we also put in response validation, so that if I just leave it like this in the email field and click Next, I'll be told to please enter a valid email address. I'll click Next. Here's where I can choose the household info. I'll put in some more quick answers here. And here is where we chose to specify where the next section was going to go based on this answer. If I say no, I don't agree to a home visit and click Next, it's going to ask if I agree to a remote video tour instead. I'll click Back, and we'll change this to Yes. I'll click Next, and it's going to take us directly to the final steps, where we have to place a checkbox to confirm. I'll click Submit, and our form is submitted. Here's our confirmation message that we changed, and I can also submit another response, but I'm going to close out of this. Now that we've gone through the entire process, let's come back and take a look. I see that we now have 5 responses to this form. There's a few ways that we can analyze the responses. To see them, I'll change to the Responses tab. I can see them as summaries, direct questions, or individual complete responses. You can see that I submitted this a few times. Here's somebody else. And I can scroll down and see all the different responses. They're clustered. Now, this isn't completely useful for an application, but think how useful it would be for a survey. I can see all my answers in charts and graphs. I can see all the responses here, which is nice to see all together. And here's my confirmations. I'm going to scroll all the way to the top, and let's change to the Question tab. Here's where I can see individual responses to each question. They're grouped by question. If I want to see the form exactly as it is, I can change to the Individual tab. Here's where I can scroll down and see the survey just as somebody would have filled it out. This is great for an application because I only want to look at one entry at a time. To get to the next one, I can scroll through at the top. And now I can look at the next application. At any time, I can toggle back and forth between all the different ways to look at the responses. Now remember, we linked this to a Google Sheet. That's where it's pulling this response information from. Google Sheets are stored in Google Drive. So let's go back to our Google Drive screen. Here's our survey response in a Google Sheet. If I click on this to open it up, I can view the data this way. I can see individual rows, I can see everything at once, and because it's in a Google Sheet, I can analyze the data any way I want. If it's a survey, I can sort these columns, I can filter them, and I can create charts and graphs and use it how I need to. If we go back to the form, remember I can click these 3 dots and choose to download the responses as a CSV file. This is useful if I want to import them into another program, such as Excel. At any time, I can go back to my Questions tab and change the form.